With the release of Crown Tundra, we officially got the best way to get shinies that we've ever gotten in any Pokemon game. The max raid adventures are up to 13 times more efficient at finding shiny Pokemon than finding them in the wild. The odds in these max raid adventures are so good, but we can also manipulate the max raid adventures a little bit to make them easier, or if you're struggling a little bit, to help you out and actually finish the max raid adventure. Now we can also manipulate these odds to find Pokemon throughout the dens that are shiny, or we can specifically target the legendary Pokemon, which I believe most people are going to end up doing. But I'm going to be providing you with all of this information today. I do hope you all enjoy today's video. Now, the odds specifically are, if you do not have a shiny Pokemon, you have a 1 in 300 chance of finding a shiny Pokemon within this den. That includes all of the encounters, which means you have a 1 in 75 chance basically when going through a max raid adventure to get a shiny within that, because every max raid adventure has 4 encounters. That all counts towards that 1 in 300. So basically every 75 encounters without a shiny charm will get you a guaranteed shiny. Now you can make that your legendary if you want to, or you can make it one of the Pokemon within, and we'll show ways to kind of figure out how to do that. Now, if you do have a shiny charm, you have a 1 in 100 chance. That is a 1 in 25% chance to find a shiny when you're doing these max raid adventures, which is phenomenal. I mean, it does take a little bit of time to actually do these max raid adventures. It could take between 10 and 20 minutes depending on your party and how much bad luck you have. But a 1 in 25% chance per Dynamax adventure is really, really good. Now, we're going to go ahead and go into this with a group, and I'm going to show a couple different things you can do to improve your odds. Let's see what we got here. We got a Vaporeon. Interesting. I wonder what's going to pop up because we're the last to choose. But I do want to go over a couple things. Now, if you are specifically targeting legendaries, that means you want to catch every single Pokemon within the max raid adventure to get your legendary to be guaranteed. We got I guess I'll get the Centiskorch. The Dynamax Centiskorch. Why not? So if you had the worst luck ever, you are guaranteed to get a shiny on your 100th catch. And if you start off from scratch, that means your 100th catch will be guaranteed to be a legendary. So when you're going through these, you want to make sure you catch every single Pokemon. That way, it is basically taking one of those Pokemon out. Every time you catch one, you're lowering your odds. So if you catch one right now, you're going to be at 99 Pokemon until you get your shiny. So basically, catch every single one. That does not mean you have to keep any of the Pokemon that you catch. So just keep that in mind. There's no reason to not catch them unless you're getting close to the end of your list. Basically, if you're at like 99 catches and you still haven't found a shiny and you really want that shiny legendary at the end, that means you want to make sure your 100th catch is the legendary at the end. That is the only reason to skip catching any Pokemon. Now, there is a really cool trick within this that allows you to actually skip one fight in your Dynamax or in your max raid adventure. So if you encounter a specific Pokemon throughout this that you think might cause some faints on your team, you can actually skip it. Now, I feel okay about this fight because we're almost done right now with this one, but I'm going to skip one of these throughout here to show you how that works to hopefully save you from failing your max at raid adventure. Now, as I mentioned, we do want to reduce the number of Pokemon left on this. Basically, we'll call it like a queue. Now, it doesn't mean that your 100th Pokemon is always going to be a shiny. You could get a shiny on your first encounter, you could get it on your 100th encounter, but you are 100% guaranteed to get a shiny Pokemon if you have a shiny charm 1 out of every 100 encounters. which is amazing because with the other rates, like for shinies in the wild, it might have been 1 out of every like 13,500 or something like that. So I'm not going to grab any of these Pokemon here. I'm good without it. What I would recommend doing is if your Pokemon took any damage, then replace it. If your Pokemon didn't get any damage, then don't replace it and let somebody else on your team pick it up that has taken damage, and that'll save you a lot of faints in the future. I'm gonna go with Ghost. I don't really care which one we do right now because I'm gonna skip the next fight just to save me some stress. I actually decided to not skip this particular fight because I have super effective attacks against it, which means it was going to be a pretty quick fight. All right, so now we want to skip a fight. There's a couple different ways you can do this. If you're connected to the TV, you're going to need to take it off of the dock. Basically, you're want to make sure you turn off your internet because you're going to disconnect from the fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Switch off the dock. Now, once I took the Switch off the dock, I enabled flight mode, which disconnects us from the internet. Now, it says a communication error has occurred. Please try again later. And this is going to end the fight. So we're going to have to wait for our move time to go down to 0. And it's going to auto-complete the fight for us. So if you encounter something that you think is going to make your team fail, then just go ahead and do that. End the fight. It's going to completely skip it. We can choose to swap it, and I am not going to. Obviously, the NPC is going to. Now, this replaces the people you had in your party with NPCs, which in some instances is going to be way more beneficial. Now we have encountered our legendary battle. We have no feints whatsoever. We can catch this, and we can see if it's a shiny. So it basically speeds up your raid adventure a little bit, which is nice. So there is one thing that really needs to be pointed out about the legendary shiny hunting for this. If you are specifically hunting for all the shiny versions of the legendaries in these adventures, then you need to make sure that when you catch these legendaries, because you can't tell if they're shiny until after you catch them, that when you catch them, if it's not shiny, do not take it. Because if you take it, you will not be able to take another one at the end of the adventures. So if I caught this Kyurem right now and it wasn't shiny and I took it at the end, I would never be able to take another one. So make sure to only take the legendaries if they're shiny, if that's specifically what you want. I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to make sure that nobody misunderstood that and then lost their chances at getting shinies in the future. Now, another thing to point out, when you do decide to skip one of those encounters, it's not going to catch or account towards your catches for the shiny rate of 1 of 100 or 1 of 300. So just keep that in mind. Only use it if you really need to skip a fight or are feeling nervous or just want to fight the next legendary. But let's go ahead and quit out of this because we did not get anything that I really want to take. Now, just to reiterate for those that skipped through the video and probably missed some information or maybe are confused, 1 in every 300 encounters is going to be a shiny Pokemon if you do not have a shiny charm. 1 in every 100 encounters is going to be a shiny Pokemon if you do have a shiny charm. Now, that is not just the legendaries. That can be any of the Pokemon within the Max Raid adventures. So it could possibly end up being something that you really despise as a Pokemon. So if that does end up being a Pokemon that you find in there, you really don't want to risk getting that as your shiny, then just do not catch that Pokemon. And kind of try and keep track of your catches throughout your time doing these adventures, because if you keep track of them, you'll be able to better judge and manipulate the legendaries as you get closer to that 100th Pokemon. Because you could once again get a Pokemon on your first capture. It could be your 10th, could be your 50th, but if you have really horrible luck from like me, it could be close to your 100th Pokemon. So as you are going through these encounters and catching Pokemon, if you haven't gotten any legendaries or any shinies, as you get closer or higher up in those encounters, then that's when you can start manipulating what you want to actually catch. Like, say you go through and catch 70 Pokemon and you really just want to get a shiny legendary no matter what, then only catch the shiny legendaries at the end, and it'll take a longer amount of time, but you'll be able to hone in better on what Pokemon you want. Or say you want a different Pokemon throughout the adventures, then only catch the ones that you actually want to get as a shiny, and that'll increase your odds substantially for getting the specific Pokemon you want as shinies. But anyways, I do hope this video helped everybody out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.